welcome to Backstage 360. I'm Kelly Bennett. We are here at the 2023 NAMM Show talking to a lot of artists, and this guy I've known since he was no, I'm only joking. Justin Emord here from 11 to 38 and the Pride Band and an advocate for NAMM. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you as always for having me.
I know, it's so exciting to talk to you because we talked last year and we got caught up about what you're doing, but I want to take folks back a little bit on how you actually got involved with NAMM and the advocacy that you've been doing, because he just got back from Sacramento a couple of weeks ago and he testifies in front of this committee in Congress, and he's a big thing. So take me back to the day when you started volunteering and helping kids, because that was the story that really touched my heart.
Sure. So it started in, I believe it was around 2013. NAMM started doing these Day of Service events here in Anaheim, and I had an artist badge because that's just what one of my sponsors got me for that year. So I don't know if that's what triggered it, but in my email that had my badge, there was also a link at the bottom saying, we're having a Day of Service event. We need teachers. And I had prior experience in high school teaching just for community service credits to get into for my college application. So I helped teach some kids at school how to play. Whenever there's been kids in the family, they've always just gravitated towards me. And I've always been able to be really patient with them. So it just seemed like putting the two together, maybe this could be something. And so I went to Anaheim for that first Day of Service event, and it was awesome. I was actually there with my soon-to-be at that point, Endorsee EMG Pickups. Their artist rep was actually there that first year, and we didn't know each other yet, but the following year, no, it was actually that NAMM. That NAMM was my first year as an EMG artist. I didn't know him yet because we had only been talking via email. So I saw him at the booth. I was like, oh, that was you at the school. How awesome. But what really touched me that year was we were working with 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. And my musical journey started in 4th grade. So tugging at the heartstrings a little bit, working with especially the class that was transformative for me. And there's this one girl in the 3rd grade class, very young, very small, petite, and her hands were really small. And so she was struggling hard getting her hand around the neck. And so I saw that happening. So I went over and was helping guide her hands. One of the NAMM photographers ended up capturing that moment, and that became a photo for their Giving Tuesday stuff. But what I remember fondly from that experience with her was, first off, she was having a great time. Even though she was struggling, she wasn't apathetic or disinterested. She was having a good time struggling just because she was still trying. But afterwards, when we were getting the guitars brought back to us so that we could get ready for the 4th graders, she gave me the guitar, and then because she was so small, she just hugged my waist and thank you, and then just ran off. I was just oh, okay, I think I like this. I think I like doing this. So the rest of the day was awesome, and every year I just kept getting the email that, hey, Day of Service event. So I would show up. It would be the first Tuesday of NAMM. So media day would be Wednesday, but we'd all get together Tuesday morning and get together and work with the kids. And I became a regular and veteran of the Day of Service events.
So tell me, because you this was back in 2013.
Yeah.
So 2013, 14, 15, 16. I think you said somewhere around 17, 18 is when you were asked to
Step up
again.
Yes. So
and here I'm watching you on Facebook, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, he's going to Sacramento.
Yeah. So it was funny after that first. It was after the 2017 Day of Service event. One of my sponsors wanted to get involved with the advocacy stuff, so I didn't really know people at NAMM super close. They knew me and I knew them. They knew they could get a hold of me, but one of my sponsors wanted to get involved, so I sent them an email, and for some reason that triggered something with NAMM that I could be of further use to them.
Right.
And so because she wanted to get involved and get her company involved and do what she could to help out, on that call, they had invited me to get involved with their advocacy efforts in Sacramento. And then they also said on the call if she sponsored me as one of like her employees, I guess, that they could send me to the Capitol in DC.
And so now you are like testifying in front of Congress in regards to music for children, the legalese, I would say, on bills that are being passed, funding that's coming through. And so now taking it full forward because of the fact that you go up there. Didn't you say you just came back a couple of weeks ago, and some of the schools are doing great, but some schools are not. How is I would say the political atmosphere right now with the funding for schools?
Sure. Well, first off, it was really great to get back up there. I was fortunate enough that during the COVID shutdown, I became a member of the Recording Academy. Don't know if I ever told you that. I vote for the Grammys now. But
what do you not do?
Crochet. I don't crochet. But I was doing advocacy work with them for the performing rights side of things. And it was great because my representatives are my representatives. So I was just seeing them, talking to them about different things and working for my peers. So, two sides of the same coin. But this was our first time back in Sacramento since the COVID shutdown. We were making really good progress beforehand. As a matter of fact, the COVID shutdown happened about a week or two before we were supposed to take our 2020 trip to Sacramento. So hotels, flights, all of that were booked and ready to go. But we had to cancel everything. So that was really disappointing. But we were able to get back up there again. And it was sad because, of course, a lot of things in the world have taken steps backwards because of COVID and the budgetary constrictions. Companies going out of business, small businesses not making it through, independent venues even not being able to weather the storm that was COVID with being closed for so long. And schools are no different. They also have funding issues, and the budgets that the federal government sets up and the state government set up, it's all a lot different than it looked in 2020. So we were up there just to try and get back on track and try and help get things back to where they were before. We were making a lot of really good progress, a lot of really cool programs happening back in 2019, 2020. But the trip this year really was, the focus and messaging was really more about recovery and trying to get back to those steps that we were at.
I applaud you for pounding that pavement and pounding the podium and getting the word out, because this is exactly what we need as young people like yourself to get up there and help with the advocacy of kids for the next generation. So Thank you so much.
The great thing too about especially being here in California is a lot of our elected officials, they know how important music is because they know what a part of our economy it is.
Right. Tax dollars. Hello.
Yeah. So if you look at just how many NAMM members are in here that just help on the music retail side of things, that's a huge part of the economy. Obviously, when you start getting into all the record labels and the actual industry side, the performing side, it's really a no-brainer. So they want those dollars to continue coming in. So as soon as you start tugging at like the wallet of the state, they get it.
Okay.
So
well, I'm glad you're there.
I'm glad to be there too.
Well, I want to switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about your music, because that's how I met you.
Yes.
I just remember sitting downstairs at the Hilton, and I hear this sound, and I'm like, who the heck is that? I got to meet these guys. And I'm telling you, I am so glad that I did. 11 to 38 is probably one of my best favorite bands in the whole wide world. And so I know you guys just had an album come out last year.
Yes. Yeah, we had a single release and a music video drop. The song is called Turn It Up. Ryan actually wrote it basically all himself, but he wrote it as kind of a anthem of performing. He wrote the song basically kind of as a love letter to the stage during COVID. The opening line of the song is, "Been so long since you spit in my face." Being an audience member, being in the front row of a concert and, just getting the sweat and bodily fluids on you that you get in the front row of a concert. It's a thing, but, as gross or cute as it is, we all miss it. We all missed it when it was gone. So Ryan wrote that because he missed it. So that's our newest song, and it feels good to play a song that was written as a love letter to the stage, and it's a really cool rock song. But the video process was a lot of fun to work on. But being able to actually play that song live, where the song is meant to exist primarily, also really fun to be able to start playing that again.
Are you playing that tonight?
We will be playing that tonight at the Hilton.
I will be there.
A little bit more of a classy venue than what the song was originally written about. It was more a love letter to the dive bars and the Viper rooms of the world. But, we'll class it up for the Hilton tonight.
We like dive bars. It's okay.
Love dive bars.
And then your other band, Pride, right?
Yes.
So the Pride?
I'm so not busy.
You're not busy at all. So tell me about the Pride. What are you up to?
So the Pride, for those that don't know, was the love child of 11 to 38. It was formed, I believe, around 2013 from the original bass player of 11 to 38 that I took over for when he left. And he was on the show MasterChef on the 5th season. So all of his Twitter handles and everything had to be Daniel MC5. He was like, this is a sign from the rock gods that I got to make some music while I'm on TV. So that was the birth of the band, and he decided to call us up November-ish of 2019, and we started working on material again. Probably really bad timing. We had our first show in February 2020, and then boom. So we took the time to really hone our sound and figure out what we wanted to do, what our identity was as a band. Ultimately, it's really influenced by bands like Cheap Trick, and for those that know, the Wild Hearts out of the UK. Really heavy riff rock, definitely some punk influence in there. But the main thing about the band is Daniel and Ryan's 2-part harmonies. That's like a signature thing of our band.
And the difference between the Pride and 11 to 38, I would say, and this is my personal opinion because this is what I compare you to, I think 11 to 38 is more like a Led Zeppelin meets Greta Van Fleet. Am I correct?
Yeah, we're definitely more of a vintage, modern throwback to the times of the guitar solos.
And that's awesome. And I just love that sound that you guys have. It's just amazing. So the Pride is completely a different spectrum.
Yeah, the Pride is more of a modern punk rock and roll band. Daniel's influences come more from the punk and hardcore scene. So that's really where his voice lives. But he also, like Ryan, is a Texas boy at heart. So, the tones are still very twangy and there's still some blues in there. But at its core and heart, the Pride is more of a modern, new school rock and roll band.
Okay, so what's next for either of those? I mean, because are you going on tour? Are you dropping some new music? What's going on?
So I'm going to need you to get a pillow for this. So 11 to 38 is going back to Canada next month.
Okay.
So we'll be up there in about a month. We're going to be up there for Memorial Day weekend.
Isn't your drummer from Canada? Okay.
He is. So we're going up there and we're gonna play some shows in Canada. Meanwhile, leading into that and probably after that, the Pride is working on a new EP. We've got about 8 to 9 brand new songs that we're working on. We've been workshopping them live, just getting them ready and figuring out what tweaks need to be made. And then we're going to be starting pre-production very soon.
Any new music from 11 to 38?
Yeah, actually, Clark was figuring out some drums the other night after a rehearsal. So new music is certainly on the way for 11 to 38.
Just thought I'd ask.
Don't you worry. we're not going away. We're just, it's a juggling act is what we're doing around here.
Okay. All right. So what about you? What's new with you? Any other things that I don't know about?
I do a lot of photography now too. So, sorry to Brian behind the camera. I do
A heart attack.
I do a lot of that. It's just fun to have a different creative outlet. I love how different the Pride and 11 to 38 are, because I've been in 11 to 38 for over 10 years now. I definitely have some go-tos that maybe I'm a little too guilty of going to, and certain boxes and patterns that my mind naturally gravitates to, and maybe certain note choices. But because of the tempo and style of the Pride's music, it's forced me to think differently about music and approaching a song differently, because it's more aggressive, it's faster. Daniel has certain ideas that he wants executed. So it's fun to have that difference, because I need to change my sound. So like my amp sound has to change. I use different basses for the two bands. Still a Fender endorsed artist. So I just have my two different, like, essentially an A rig and a B rig for them. But being able to do photography and just kind of shut off music for this other creative side has proven to be really beneficial, I think. I remember going to Joshua Tree during COVID just to get out and try astrophotography. And
your work is absolutely phenomenal. You should actually enter it into some contests.
I've actually won a couple. My first one that I won was in Tokyo, so that was awesome.
Oh my gosh!
But I happened to be working on the first EP for the Pride when I went to Joshua Tree, and getting that shut off from music while we were in the middle of working on it, to just try this whole other thing that I've never attempted, and just having to start from the ground, because the Pride is I'm still playing bass, so like the knowledge and everything is still there. It's just applying that differently and approaching it differently. I wasn't starting from step one of how do I play this instrument. So like there was still a familiarity that I was working with, but having to try and do astrophotography, it was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, you're very talented. I mean, obviously you know what you're doing, because your work is absolutely beautiful. Very, very nice.
Thank you. Just so people don't worry, I'm still very active doing both. So photography is not replacing the band.
Nope.
11 to 38 isn't replacing the Pride. The Pride is not replacing 11 to 38. We're just juggling.
Let's talk about where everybody can find you at.
Yes.
So I'm assuming 11to38.com, because I know that.
Yes.
And is it thepride.com?
Follow the Pride on Facebook and Instagram. We're going very heavy on the social media stuff, so you can find us there. Follow the Pride.
And then 1138 is on website. So, okay.
You can go to 11to38music.com, and we have all of our links, news, show updates, all of that is right there.
And where can people find your photography?
You can actually find it on Canvas World. I am a featured photographer for Canvas World, so if you go there, you can find my work and purchase a canvas.
Nice. All right, guys. You heard him. You got all the info. You know where to go. So thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations, too.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next time.